Skinwalker Ranch officials discovered a demona at Taos Ranch. Imagine living in a place where the very air seems to hum with dark energy, where mysterious lights flicker in the night, and where you fear that something truly evil might be lurking. Is there really a demon hiding away in the shadows of the Taos Ranch? Join us as we unravel this strange danger haunting the ranch. A ranch owner's haunting experiences since 2020. The team has been collecting and studying data from Skinwalker Ranch, a place notorious for unidentified aerial phenomena and other strange happenings. But despite all their work, the team hasn't fully uncovered the truth about Skinwalker Ranch. Now, they're looking at other locations with similar reports, hoping to find connections that could lead to answers. The Skinwalker Ranch team, known for their paranormal work, is eager to see if there's real proof behind the weird happenings or if something else is going on at Taos Ranch. Yet, what they discover may be even more terrifying than what the woman has imagined. Could there be something far worse than just a haunting? One of these places is the Taos Ranch, where a woman has reported seeing strange lights and feeling a mysterious energy that has physically affected her. She fears that something evil may be on the property, or something so powerful it might even have been involved in her husband's death. These reports have caught the attention of the investigation team, who are eager to explore the site and gather more information. To help with their investigation, the team has reached out to Chris O'Brien, an expert in cattle mutilations and other unexplained phenomena. O'Brien was one of the first people to investigate Skinwalker Ranch back in the early 1990s, before Robert Bigelow owned it. During that time, the Sherman family, who lived there, experienced terrifying events, from seeing unidentified flying objects to finding their cattle gruesomely mutilated. These events led them to seek out O'Brien, who has continued to study similar cases ever since. O'Brien has now brought the Taos Rancher to the Skinwalker team's attention, noting similarities between the events there and those at Skinwalker Ranch. The woman's reports, along with the mysterious hum that has been heard in the area, have raised many questions. This hum, an unexplained sound heard in various places around the world, seems to come away from an unknown source. Its presence at the Taos Ranch only deepens the mystery, leading the team to wonder how it might be connected to the other strange occurrences. The woman, who is well respected in her local community, has never talked publicly about her experiences before. She was hesitant to share her story, worried about what might happen if she did. However, she has agreed to let the investigation team document what has been happening on her property, giving them a rare chance to explore the unknown. As they get ready to visit the ranch, the team is determined to uncover the truth behind these disturbing events, hoping their investigation will illuminate the dark forces at work. The investigation focused on a rancher in Taos, New Mexico, where the owner has reported strange and unsettling events. The team, known for their work at Skinwalker Ranch, turned their attention to this new place, especially the ranch house where the most intense experiences seemed to happen. Thea began by talking with the ranch owner, Melinda, who shared the eerie story of her time living there with her husband. Melinda explained that she moved to the ranch in 2005. Her husband owned cattle and managed the land. But just 3 nights after she moved in, something strange and unexplainable happened. She and her husband were taken by an unknown force, which she describes as an abduction. This terrifying and unexpected event marked the beginning of a series of disturbing occurrences on the ranch. She went on to describe what happened during these events. Each time, the windows would suddenly fill with a bright, intense white light. Along with the light, there was a faint hum in the air, almost too quiet to hear but unmistakable. The atmosphere would change, feeling heavier and charged with a strange energy. When Thea woke up the next morning, they felt disoriented, with foggy minds and aching bodies, as if they had been through something exhausting. Melinda believed that during these times, They were taken onto some kind of sheepway where they were subjected to medical exams. This wasn't just her imagination. Her husband had noticed strange things are happening on the ranch long before she arrived. They both thought that there was something unusual about the land, possibly a portal or vortex that allowed these strange events to happen. The tragic events at a haunted ranch. The experiences were more than just too unsettling, they were downright terrifying. Melinda described constantly feeling on edge, as if danger was always close by. The fear became a daily part of their lives. Then, a tragedy struck. First, their dog perished, followed by their horse a few months later. Then, in a cruel twist of fate, Melinda's husband passed away. The losses didn't stop there. Her cat passed on shortly after her husband, followed by Hero, other dog. Each death came one after another, adding to the dread that hung over the ranch. The combination of these events are the brighter lights, the hum, the physical after effects, and the string of deaths created a story that was both disturbing and tragic. Melinda's experience was filled with fear, loss, and unanswered questions. The team, after hearing her story, knew they had to dig deeper into what was happening at this ranch, hoping to uncover the truth behind these strange occurrences. After Melinda buried her last dog, she couldn't take it anymore. She called her son, pleading with him to come and get her. Fear was just too much, and she felt she had no other choice but to leave the ranch that had brought her so much pain and loss. Living away there had become unbearable, and she described it as a place she could no longer call home. Thinking back on everything that had happened, Melinda didn't believe these tragedies were just bad luck. She was convinced that a darker force, which she referred to as a demon, was behind the events that had torn her life apart. She believed this evil presence was connected to the strange energies on Taos Ranch and was responsible for the deaths of her animals and her husband. In her mind, there was no doubt about this. When asked how she would respond to people who might doubt her story, Melinda didn't hesitate. She said she didn't care what others thought or whether Theo believed her. She wasn't trying to convince anyone, she was just telling the truth as she knew it. It didn't matter to her if others found her story hard to believe. Melinda chose to speak out now, even though she had kept her identity hidden before. She wanted to understand what was really going on at her ranch, not just from her own perspective, but in a way that science could explain. She hoped that by sharing her experiences, she might find some answers and that the scientific community could help explain the strange occurrences she had lived through. Meanwhile, Chris, who had been investigating similar cases, brought Andy to the ranch so he could see the house where these unsettling events had happened. Paul soon joined them, and together with the team, they planned their first experiment at the ranch. Theo decided to start near the window where Melinda said many of her abductions had occurred. This spot was thought to be connected to some sort of portal, which might help explain the strange things that had been happening. To bolster their investigation, the team enlisted the expertise of Steve Priola, a seasoned local investigator affiliated with the Mutual UFO Network. Steve was no stranger to the strange and unexplained. His extensive background in investigating unusual phenomena made him a valuable addition to the team. Before joining the effort, Steve, alongside Chris and other members of the team, had already conducted preliminary research at the ranch. Their initial findings had only deepened the mystery surrounding the property, particularly the house at its center. The current owners were convinced that the house was the epicenter of the disturbing energy Theo had experienced, an energy so malevolent that Theo believed it could only be described as demonic. The team's working theory was that Theo's negative energy might be connected to some form of portal activity, a concept they had encountered before in their investigations at Skinwalker Ranch. They hypothesized that this portal, if it existed, could be a gateway for the strange and unsettling events occurring on the property. To test this theory, the team decided to employ a range of techniques that had previously yielded results in similar investigations. These methods, honed over years of exploring other anomalous sites, were aimed away at detecting and possibly even interacting with the forces at play around the house. One of the phenomena that particularly intrigued the team was the Taos hum, a low-frequency sound wave that locals in the area had reported for years. The hum was enigmatic, with no clear source, yet it seemed to permeate the environment, adding to the unease felt by those living near the ranch. The investigators were especially eager to explore whether this hum was somehow connected to the unexplained energy and events on the property. Could the hum be a manifestation of the portal activity they suspected, or was it a clue pointing to something even more complex and hidden? As the team meticulously prepared for their experiments, the tension among them was palpable. Every piece of equipment was checked and double-checked, every plan discussed in detail. They knew they were about to delve into something far from ordinary. The air around the ranch seemed to buzz with anticipation, as if the land itself was aware of what was to come. Despite the unease that lingered in their minds, the team was resolute. They had come to this place with a mission, and they were determined to see it through. No matter how disturbing the answers they might uncover, they were eager to face the truth, whatever it might be. The dangerous, strange activity at the Taos Ranch. The investigation team decided to use the information for their experiments that night. They planned to broadcast the 55 Hz tonia across the ranch and the surrounding area. To monitor what happened, they set up thermal cameras, which can detect temperature changes, and a spectrum analyzer, which picks up unusual radio frequencies. They were particularly interested in frequencies around 1.6 GHz, a range usually used for communication between Earth and space. Before starting the experiment, the team first observed the normal radio noise in the area using the spectrum analyzer. As expected, it was lower and steady. Once they had this baseline, they were ready to begin the broadcast. They set the tonia generator to 55 Hz and started the broadcast. As soon as the tone started playing, something unusual happened. The data on the spectrum analyzer began to shift, showing strange activity in the exact frequency range they were watching 1.6 GHz. This unexpected result immediately grabbed their attention. Paul and Andy, both experienced investigators, quickly realized that these changes in energy weren't random. The shifts in the spectrum seemed to be directly connected to the tone they were broadcasting. The frequency, usually reserved for communication between Earth and space, showed clear signs of interference, which was unusual and intriguing. The importance of this discovery wasn't lost on the team. The fact that playing a simple tone could cause such a reaction in a frequency linked to space communication was both fascinating and concerning. It suggested there might be more to the Taos hum than anyone had previously thought, possibly even a link to something beyond our planet. As they continued to watch the data, the team knew they were witnessing something extraordinary. The changes in energy and the response in the 1.6 GHz range could provide new clues to the strange events at the ranch. This wasn't just ordinary interference, it was something that needed to be investigated further, as it could hold the key to understanding the mysterious forces at work in this remote and eerie place. As the team watched the readings, something surprising happened. The tone generator, which had been sending out the 55 Hz sound, was turned off. But the strange signals they were detecting didn't stop. The noise kept showing up on the equipment, even though the source of the tone was no longer active. This puzzled the team. They expected the signals to fade once the tone was off, but instead, they saw even more noises on their instruments. These signals seemed to be coming away from an unknown source and weren't going away. The continued activity on the spectrum analyzer showed that something unusual was happening, something they couldn't easily explain. The team was both curious and cautious. The ongoing energy readings made it clear that something significant was happening at the site. But they weren't sure what to make of it. Was this a breakthrough, or was it a sign of something more troubling? Without clear answers, They felt a mixture of excitement and uncertainty, knowing they had stumbled upon something important but not yet understanding what it meant. After finishing their field work, Paul and Andy returned to share their findings with the rest of the team. Eric Bard, who had been closely following their progress, was eager to hear what they had experienced in Taos. Paul and Andy quickly reported that they had collected a lot of interesting data and had some experiences they wouldn't forget anytime soon. One of their main experiments involved sending a tone into the air to see if it would cause any measurable changes. They chose the 55 Hz frequency because Steve Priola, a local investigator from the Mutual UFO Network, had identified it. This frequency was thought to be linked to the strange hum people had reported hearing in Taos. And the team wanted to see if playing it would lead to any noticeable changes in the environment. What they found was beyond what Thea had expected. The energy readings showed unusual activity that continued even after the tone was turned off. Thea signals suggested that something in Thea environment was either responding to or interacting with the frequency in ways Thea didn't yet understand. This discovery raised more questions than it answered, leaving the team with much to analyze and discuss as they continued to investigate the strange phenomena at the Taos Ranch. The team set up their experiment right in front of the ranch house, where the owners claimed they had been taken from their bedroom during strange events. Their goal was to see if anything unusual would happen when they broadcast